Hello, hello. So I thought I would go and not be antisocial and actually do something fun and something that made me think a little bit about my collection, my 200 plus decks that I have. So let's do the tarot collection top decks. I really like 78 Poetas, and so this is one of the videos I was like, oh, I can do this. This will be fun. And I was like, well, it's a lot. It's 21 questions. And I'm like, I really got to think hard because I really want to do a good job. So I think I'm done selecting the decks that I want to. So let's put some aside. I'm going to split this up into two parts, but then put them all together. So the very first deck was my RWS from 1988 or 89. It's pretty beat up. So this is also my worn out deck because it's had water damage. It's been shuffled by other people that I wasn't happy with. So first deck, my mother bought it for me. It's got sun damage, so yeah, it's my yellow box. Or I remember I bought it in Hampton. Hampton, Virginia, Newmarket Mall. And I think it was at a Walden Books, or it's either B. Dalton or Walden Books. I think it was Walden Books. I can almost picture it. I remember it was under the case where you would check out, and it was like in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think it was $13. There's no price on it. You know how they put prices on things now. I think it was $13, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. But my mother bought it for me. She's like, oh, have fun with it. So that's it. Have I taped this? I have not taped the box or anything. I've just kind of let it do its thing. So that was question one. Question two, what's your most recent deck? Well, I just made a video on that yesterday. The Sola Busca from Scarlet Imprint from 2017. That's my most recent acquisition, which is funny because the one I just bought is also on this list. This is the last new purchase of the Rider Marseille tarot deck, Alejandro Rozan, which I love this deck. But yeah, this is my last purchase. You know, I'm a big eBayer, so when I find a deck that I've been looking for, I'm like, let me see if I can get it. Is it feasible? So, and then number three, which deck has the best colors? Well, I can't even pronounce the deck. It's this deck, which is also my largest deck. It is got a sticker that I leave in there. It is oh, I forget the name of this deck. I think it starts with an X. There's like no booklet. It's signed and numbered. It's a huge deck, and you can put the decks, the suits together. It's a collage deck, but my God, it's gorgeous. It's the biggest deck I have. Biggest deck. It's also the most colorful because it's so eclectic. I'll have to think of the name. It has an iridescent side to it. It's crazy. It's a crazy deck. It's also the craziest deck I own. I love it. Shoot, what is the name of this deck? I mean, it's like a mystery. And I bought it a couple years ago, and I love it. It's lovely. It's amazing. I think it's a D and an X and Doxy, something. Best faces? Well, this one. That's right, I had to break the seal for this one because I couldn't get in the bottom because it's glued. I love this deck. It is beautiful. The faces, yes, they are imitating a Marseille style, but they're done well. They look like they're almost like, I'm a tarot trump, and I'm sitting here pretty, and you are not. I love them. And even throughout the cards, the faces look beautiful. This deck just glides. It has that lovely playing card finish, which a lot of people just don't like, but damn if that doesn't feel nice in your hands. Less prone to damage, to be honest. But yeah, this deck, gorgeous. The largest deck is this one that I was just handling. My other largest decks are the museum quality Visconti Sforza and the Solabusca. Those are the largest ones, but those are all big decks. Smallest deck is my little tiny, I have 3, but this is my Visconti Tarot. Now this one has, the backs of this one are adorable. I talked about this before, the Florentine. It's lovely. They're just so intricate. And if I have my readers on, I could actually look at it a little bit better. It's the cutest little deck for this Visconti. It's the tiniest. So I think it is the smallest one I own, the tiniest, you know. I have seen them even smaller, but it's kind of a gimmick, you know. Small decks are kind of gimmicky. Best court cards. Well, I've talked about this before. It's from the Tarot of the Third Millennium, and last year they put out just the majors, the 22 majors from this deck. They are beyond gorgeous. I left this in the little plastic sleeve because I love them so much. I mean, they are gorgeous. And look at the back. It's like a star field. I mean, look at that. I mean, beautiful. I love these. Notice there's no color distracting you. It's pure imagery. It's modern. It's multicultural. It is lovely. I mean, if you don't like this, I don't know what's wrong with you. Look at the world. Amazing. Aysen Gusev is a brilliant artist. Absolutely brilliant. Which is why I have a deck signed by him. Pinocchio deck. Because I absolutely adore him. He is a true master. A lovely illustrator. So yeah. Most worn out. Well, it's my first one. And the other one would be my... this is my first one because the box and the cards are discolored, but the other one would be the second deck I got. Probably the Robin Wood Tarot. But yeah, these are some of the cards. They haven't quite chipped at the side, but they're not, you know, it's not like in the best quality. It really is. I remember I was playing with water balloons and one popped, and it just got a love deck. The cards are in pretty good shape. What's my most esoteric deck? Well, to be honest, it's the Hermetic Tarot, which is an absolute classic. There's so much imagery, it might as well mimic the Thoth Tarot, Swiss Crowley Thoth Tarot. I like that there's no colors, it's black and white. There's just so much symbolism just there, just in your face. Old interpretations and new interpretations, as well as, you know, the Kabbalah, all that good stuff. Just really, it's in there. It's funny, I had this before, I sold it, and then I got another copy. Don't know why I sold it, but it should be a standard in anybody's collection. And the last one for part 1 is what is your best one for shadow work? This might surprise some people, but it is the Marguerite Peterson Tarot. Why? Well, I am a huge fan of abstract interpretation and what it can do for you. This has a lovely book. Well, my edition does. It's not colored, but the paper is, the wraps. But when you look at the court cards, it's abstract. There's a little bit of a hint of whatever, and it's great for kind of prompting you. This card, I swear the Fool reminds you, it's the handmade on it. These cards are absolutely wonderful. I mean, they're just great for meditative work or anything like that. They really are, and I don't think they get enough. I don't think they're appreciated enough. It's a lovely deck. I'm sure some people are like, oh, the Margaret people. And I actually really like the size because you can really like almost like color field, like you can almost put yourself into it and just kind of go in and think, concentrate. Okay, here is part 2 of the Tarot Collection top decks. Let's see, number 11. Which deck has the best backs? Well, it's kind of a tie for me. The Visconti Tarot is, I love the backs. I think they are, they're a little tiny, but they're so intricate. I love that. I've never seen this on another deck before, so that's one of my favorites in this tiny itty bitty little deck, which I'm now done with. Or the Credo, the Tarot Volatile by Credo Quia Surda. The backs of these, I don't know, something about the backs of these is really like, it doesn't feel too pretentious. I don't know. I like the colors of this. I don't know, that's a personal favorite of mine. I just really like they did a good job. I can't say enough about the Tarot Volatile deck. It is definitely one of my favorite decks. It's brilliant. Best card stock. That's a hard one, but kind of a strange thing. The Moonbaby Tarot. I like this deck a lot, even though it's a hoi polloi remake. And this is the first edition. I don't have another deck like this that has cardstock that's thick and it's pink core. And there's red core, black core, white core. This is pink core. I mean, that little detail puts it over the edge for me. And I love the deck. Moon Baby, thank you. This is the first edition. There's a second edition out, but since the hoi polloi is out of print, I mean, this is a great job at the deck. I can't say enough about that one. I don't use it. I just have bought it and collected it. But it is a lovely deck. Silky Touch deck. Why is this upside down? Silky Touch. Well, Silky Touch. I was looking for the... I have a deck that's plasticky. It's black and plastic and it's gold line on it. It's a plastic deck, but I like the feel of it. Not my favorite, but it is interesting. Silky Touch. Silky Touch. Silky Touch. They're pretty much all the same unless like the Tarot Volatile has that sort of air finish like playing cards. I actually like that for shuffling. So this has it. What other decks do I have that air finish? Usually it's the small press decks that will choose that when they have it printed, and some people don't like it because it does remind them of playing cards, but they shuffle so well. They feel really nice. Deck has the best sound when you shuffle it. Maybe I'm partial, but I like my deck because the edges of the deck are my original deck. the edges are kind of soft, so it's very silent, like an owl flying through the forest. It's dead silent. I love it. Tarot deck that's the most misunderstood, probably the Enochian. It's fairly controversial as far as people have really weird opinions about it. Some people think it's awful, it's brilliant. We have so many thoughts on this, and even if I say something about it, people don't seem to. Enochian, of course, is supposed to be like the language of angels. Of course, there's the Book of Enoch, and there's John Dee, and all that. So I would say this Enochian Tarot, which is out of print, but it's not one of my favorite decks, but I have it as, a collector. Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most misunderstood. Other than that, I think the Thoth, the Crowley Thoth, some people think it's evil. Most ancient one, probably the Budapest tarot I have from Tarot Sheet Revival, from Sullivan Hismans. Yeah, the Budapest is probably the earliest one. It's very, if you've seen it, might as well open it up. Budapest. Even to look at it, it looks almost primitive. Looks like I never opened it up, but I have. Yeah, very primitive looking. I think this is probably, at least the style of it. As far as the date, goes, I'm not sure when this was originally published. If I had to guess when, another early deck would probably be the Solobuska, of course, or maybe even, let's see, we got the Solobuska, Visconti, Sforza. Those would be earliest ones. Let's see. Well, which deck has the most surprising story for good or bad? Okay, this one's kind of weird, but Robin Wood Tarot was like my second deck, and then I got the Medieval Scapini, which I love, and then the Swiss Crowley Thoth, and so forth. Robin Wood, I would use this instead of my RWS because they're so similar, and I love the imagery and the drawing of the Robin Wood. And it just really talked to me a little bit. So the Robin Wood story behind it, I ordered it on Amazon before Amazon was Amazon. It was when they only sold books, and then they bought CD Universe and they started selling music. And so there was hardly any place to get a tarot deck. You had to, this is right when the internet was really taking off. There was nowhere you could get, I didn't have any like mail order stuff or anything like that. So it's the first deck I bought on Amazon, and I really didn't know anything about it, and so I get it, and I'm like, I hate the box. I was like, what type of flimsy? It is a rather flimsy box, the way the front opening. And I bought this for just because I just wanted another deck that was similar. I didn't know too much about it, and I opened it up. I'm like, oh, it's okay. And then I thought about it, I'm like, oh, it actually is better than I initially thought. And it surprised me, and I was like, wow, well, there's all these other decks out there, and it kind of opened me up to like exploring other decks. So that's kind of my story for that one. I've talked about my my mother buying me this deck before, but this one, the Robin Wood, first one on Amazon, I think I bought it in 97. So 1997, probably March, April, May, if my memory is good. Let's see. What deck has the best purchase story? Well, I guess that was sort of the same. Maybe that was my purchase story. Well, how about, here's another purchasing story. The Tavaglione Stairs of Gold deck that I've talked about before. Buying that, and it was unopened, and it was missing 2 cards, and it was the signed edition with Tavaglione's signature, numbered edition, a wooden box. Yeah, my heart dropped when I'm like, it's missing cards. I've since bought another deck and put those cards in there, but they're not gilded around the edges. I could probably do it myself, but I just stuck them in there. Now I have a incomplete, older Tavaglione deck that's, box is about torn up. But yeah, I was like, I did it on a whim. I'm like, oh my god, a signed Tavaglione? How this is crazy. I love his artwork. Which deck do I always use for self-readings? Well, RWS is great, but Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot, I absolutely love it. Paul Hewson, I love him. I love his books, so this is my go-to. I love it. Which is the most difficult tarot deck to master? Oh, well, it's the Thoth. I mean, the layers and layers of the Thoth Tarot are there. Anything that goes into the Golden Dawn or the OTO, it's crazy. It's out there. It takes a long time to study it and actually master it. If you can say you've mastered it, because there's so many layers. Best deck overall? Oh, I brought this one out. The Rose Tarot. This is one of my surprising ones, I think. I bought this. I wasn't too crazy about the artwork, but then I was like, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful deck. I love it. Rose Tarot by Nigel Jackson. I bought this at a local bookstore, and I'd been thinking about it for a couple months, and then I saw it in a bookstore. I'm like, it's meant for me to get it, and it was even on sale. So I love this one. I guess that's another purchasing story. Best deck to use overall? Well, for me, or for everyone, it's the one that works for you, of course, the one that you connect with. But for me, I always go back to, there's 3, well, I guess 3. I love the Barbara Walker, I love my RWS, and I love Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot. Robin Wood I haven't used in a few years, but it was one I still think highly of. But the Barbara Walker Tarot is definitely one of my favorites. I love the imagery, and I love all the stuff in there. The Rose Tarot is also very, very usable for me, which is another reason why I pulled it. There's some decks you just don't connect with. This one was like, it has all this symbolism in it, and you don't realize it until you look into it. And the artwork, it reminds me of like a storybook with really interesting characters. Yeah, so that is that's it. That concludes my my tarot collection top decks. I have these. I put these out. These are some of the block printings that I've done. I thought I'd just show them just as a treat. This is the Holy Fool. So what I do is I find an image, I trace the back of it with graphite, and then I rub it onto a piece of rubber, and I carve it out so all those little lines are carved. Then I ink it, and then I stamp it onto cotton paper. So we have I haven't been doing it, I've been doing it for probably about 7 months. Holy Fool, Medieval Peasant, I love the face that I did. And then the Hand of Fate, or the Hand of Glory, was the last one I did, but I'm getting ready to do another one on the Chartres Cathedral Labyrinth. because I've been there. I love the whole cathedral. I think it's very mystical. But the hand turned out really well. This is from Le Petit Albert, but also if you're a fan of the Wicker Man, there's a variant there. But my little medieval he's very well dressed medieval peasant. People give medieval peasants a bad name, but they were hard workers. And as that being a little bit of my heritage, wherever it was in France or Germany or England or Ireland, you have to give it to the medieval peasant for surviving Black Death 2 times, and just, you know. Cool thing I learned about medieval times, sleep was different. So you would normally go to sleep when the sun went down, but then you'd wake up around 11 or 12, and you would go and you'd visit neighbors, or you'd finish some tasks, and then you'd go back to sleep until the sun rose up. So it was actually part 1, part 2, like this, sort of like this video. And that was very common. That was not uncommon, and it makes me want to do it now, but I usually wake up around 2 or 3 and like scroll on my phone for 10-20 minutes and go back to sleep. So maybe the medieval world was onto something with that part 1, part 2 sleep. Anyway, that is it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not going to tag anybody because I don't like to be, I'm more of a lurker. So I watch channels, I like channels, and once in a while I'll give a comment, but not too often. I like to kind of stay in my own little bubble and show what I have, and if anybody engages with me, that's great. If they don't, that's okay too. No pressure. So anyway, thanks for watching and sticking with it. I hope you like all the decks I went through, and I'm not going to talk about them in the description because I think that spoils it. I want to, watch the video, see what I'm talking about. Anyway, also, news in the Tarot Volatile, there's a special edition coming out. You can pre-order it now if they still have any. It's like a collector's edition, deluxe edition, coming out in September, and I pre-ordered it. It's actually not a bad price. So anyway, thank you for watching, and everybody have a lovely day and stay safe.